All right, I'm going to start off with my key in my pocket to do the inside of the bus right now. First of all, I'm going to check my door once again. If you haven't done it from the outside of the bus, make sure it's operating properly, the seal's intact, and no missing bolts or parts. On the way into the bus, I'm going to check my step well, and I want to make sure there's no loose or missing treads, no damage to the treads, and also make sure that the step handle here is in good shape, no missing bolts, and it's secure. Next, as I work my way into the bus, I'm going to check my fire extinguisher, which is right here, and I want to make sure that it's currently tagged and that it's fully charged on the gauge up here. I'm going to make sure that I have my body fluid cleanup kit as well as my first aid kit, which is right here, and also I want to make sure that I have my box with my fusees and my 3 reflective triangles. All right, I work my way into the bus, and I'm going to go ahead and put the key in the on position, but I'm not going to start the bus. All right, now as I'm going to work my way toward the back of the bus, I'm going to check the seat backs on the way back to make sure that they are secure. There's no torn seats, anything like that. Come back to the back door of the bus, and I'm going to lift the handle to make sure that the rear buzzer works and close it back. Next, on my way forward, I'm going to be checking all my seat bottoms to make sure they're secure. There's no rips or tears in the bottoms of the seats. Make sure that my emergency roof hatches are they're secure, and also they're properly marked. I would tell the examiner that I would open the roof hatch to check the buzzer, but I'm not going to make sure that it doesn't leak later on down the road. Also, I'm going to go ahead and check my pull-out handles on my emergency exit windows to make sure the buzzer works. Make sure they're marked properly as well on the way up. Check all my seat bottoms. As I'm getting to my driver's seat, I'm going to check my seat belt. I want to make sure that there's no tears, there's no damage, everything's securely fastened here as I'm sitting down into the seat. Get my key out. Oh, my key's in the ignition. I'm also going to make sure that the bottom of the seat belt is secure to the floor. Next, I'm going to turn my key off, and I'm going to tell the examiner that I'm going to perform a safe start. And what the safe start is, we want to make sure that our parking brake is engaged, that the bus is in neutral. I've got my foot on the service brake. I'm going to turn the key to the on position, and then I'm going to watch for the ABS light to go out on the dash. And then I'm going to start my bus. My ABS light has gone out, so I'm in good shape on the safe start. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to start from my top to my bottom, and then I'm going to work from left to right on my bus, checking the various items. Go ahead and turn my panel lights on just so I can see them. All right, starting from the top, I want to make sure that my passenger mirror is properly adjusted and there's no missing bolts or parts. Also, my mirrors, my side view mirrors and my convex mirrors, that they're properly adjusted for me. If I need help with the adjustments on there, I can ask the examiner to help me with that. Next, I'm going to check my windshield to make sure it's not cracked, no illegal stickers, and it's clean, no damage. My windshield wipers, I want to look at my wipers, and I'm going to make sure that the rubbers are not torn and that there's no missing parts or no damage to my wipers itself. I'll go ahead and try my wipers while I'm here, make sure that they work properly, and I'm also going to test out my washer and make sure it sprays. I do see that it sprays and it's working properly. Next, as I work my way down, I'm going to go ahead and honk my horn just to show the examiner that it works properly as well. I'm going to move on over here to my left panel, and I'm going to check all my heaters and all my defrosters, and I'm going to listen or hear, the fans blowing. So, starting with heaters. I'm going to turn that on, and I can hear my heater in the back. And I'm going to turn on my driver defroster heater. Make sure I can hear it working as well. And I turn it on to defrost just to verify that it's working like it should. And I can feel and I can hear that the defroster is working properly. Turn those off. Now I'm going to check my lights to make sure that they're working properly. My driver dome is working. And my passenger lights are working as well. If I have more than one light, I will check all of them as I'm going through here. And I'm going to check and make sure that my fans are working properly, and I can see and feel my fan working as well. As I'm going across here, I'm going to check all my gauges to make sure that everything is working properly. And starting off, I'm going to look at my depth gauge. I need to have at least 1/8 of a tank of depth in here. My water temperature gauge, I want to make sure that it is at the proper range, as well as my oil pressure gauge should be between 20 and 40. And also I'm going to look at my voltmeter. If I have a digital gauge, I will check and make sure, or I will tell the examiner that I have a digital gauge, but this bus does not. It has a regular gauge, and it's a proper level. I have adequate fuel, and everything looks good on the gauges. Okay, next I'm going to move on to checking my indicators. There's two checks we're going to do. We've got to actually point to and check each indicator as well as the lights here in just a minute. So I'm going to start off with my left turn signal. I see the indicator. My right turn signal. I see the indicator. And then I'm going to do my flashers, my hazard lights, and I see the indicator there as well. I'm also going to do my low beam, and I'm going to show the examiner my high beam indicator here too. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the examiner to help me check the outside lights. He will help you, and he will get out, and you're going to have to tell him exactly which lights that you're going to want to check. So you'll have to go through the front lights. You have to do the low beam and high beam headlights, turn signals and hazards, right and left turn signals, left and right. And you'll have to check all of your clearance lights. Make sure you do not forget your clearance lights, as well as your amber warning lights and your red loading lights, and your all your lights are on the front. And then on the sides, you want to make sure that you ask him to check your clearance lights. You tell him clearance lights, and he'll give you the thumbs up. Also, you have a turn signal and a hazard light on the side, so you'll be doing your turn signals on the left side and the hazards as well, and on the right side as well. Next, he'll check the lights on the back of your bus, and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to have him check the clearance lights, not the headlights, but the turn signals and hazards, the brake and tail lights, which there's 2 sets of those on the back, as well as the license tag light and the brake lights and the backup lights. You'll have him ask the examiner to check each one of those for you. After that, the examiner will get back on the bus, and we're going to do a series of brake checks. And will you hit that handle for me, please, so I can shut the door? Okay. I'll do a series of brake checks, and the first one is the emergency brake or the parking brake test, and we'll put our foot on the service brake, we'll put the bus in drive, and then we will push the gas, and the bus should not move. And we'll go ahead and put it back in drive and release the parking brake. And then we're going to go ahead at least 5 miles per hour. Make sure you're going at least 5 miles per hour. You can even go just a little bit faster than that. And then you're going to hit your service brake, and you'll release your steering wheel just to make sure the bus does not turn to the right or turn to the left. Once you've done that, you'll reset your parking brake, put it in neutral. Now you're going to do the service brake check to make sure that the pedal does not go to the floor. What you'll do, you'll pump your brake 3 to 5 times. You want to hold it for 5 seconds, and the brake pedal should not move. Next, on your brake check, very important, you turn off your bus again. And then lastly, what you're going to do, you're going to listen for the hydraulic brake electric motor to engage when you push the pedal. And I do hear that hydraulic system working. Okay, this concludes the interior of the bus exam.